With the disappointing news of the Phoenix Suns losing last night and failing to make the play in, a lot of news is going to be dropping around this Suns team, and a major report just dropped on a shocking new update revolving around some changes that are going to be happening within this Suns team. Something that fans know is going to be happening this offseason. And one report leads a shocking reveal on one of these stars. So we'll be diving in and getting into that on this episode of Suns Digest. I am Bruce Velez, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic showing your love and support on the channel, hitting us with those likes, letting us know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And with the Suns being eliminated, now it is going to be the fun talk about this Phoenix Suns team with these last two games to really evaluate these rookies and really discuss the drama and the news revolving around this team. So if you want to make sure you stay up to date on everything revolving around this squad, make sure to hit the subscribe button, as this is the daily place for you to get your Suns content. We'll be going live once again today at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. So if you have any Suns questions or want to break down anything revolving around the Suns team, make sure to come by here today later as well. Without further ado, let's dive in and let's get into the video at hand. Make sure to grab that snack in. Ladies and gentlemen, it will finally be happening. I think that Bradley Beal will be gone, and I believe that he will be gone after this season. And we've heard some new reports coming through with this news, but one player that has definitely left a lot of frustrations within this Suns roster has been Bradley Beal, for the fact that he makes $50 million, has a no-trade clause, and is not worth the value that he has been playing with injuries, with his play style, with his fit, with his ability to, try on the court, as we've seen in the recent stretch of games here. It hasn't been the best from Bradley Beal, and we saw from Evan Cedery yesterday that there's a 0% chance that the Suns will keep Bradley Beal next season, as we heard from Gambo. And Gambo dropped this on his Apple podcast, basically alluding to the fact that Phoenix, if aren't able to find a trade for Bradley Beal, will pull off a historic buyout for the player on a max contract, either buying him outright or doing the stretch and waive type of scenario that we've discussed here on this channel to really get that down. Now, if you want to get more detail into that, check out a previous video titled All Signs Point to This, in which we detailed Bradley Beal and the three potential ways that he could be off this roster: trade, stretch and waive, or stretch or bought out straight up, and went over the repercussions of all three of those moves. But in today's episode, we're going to be looking, obviously, and discussing that a little bit more in detail. Obviously, the Suns failing to make the play-in, failing to make the playoffs on an 8-game losing streak here, have not been able to win a game since that 4-game win streak they had, but their last win was versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Since then, there's been a loss after loss after loss. Kevin Durant got injured. He did not return and did not even return in last night's contest. And for the Suns, going into this next season, they have a lot of questions surrounding this roster. Being a second apron team has obviously limited them in the moves that they were able to make this season and in the off season, but the Suns are looking to get underneath that. And how will they look to get underneath that? Well, they're going to have to waive some guys and trade some guys, as we still see with the 7 guys under roster in Booker, Beal, Royce O'Neal, Durant, Ryan Dunn, and Osagudaro, and Grayson Allen. At this moment, the Suns are still over that second apron threshold here at $218 million. The Suns will have to cut one of those $50 million contracts, or cut those trade team option in Vasilije Micic and the non-guaranteed deal in Cody Martin to drop below that first apron, to then have some flexibility. Within being in that first apron, the Suns would have the flexibility of having a mid-level exception, which allows them to sign a player up to worth $12 million on a deal that is team-friendly that can help out the Suns. The Suns can also aggregate contracts in salaries. They can no longer have to do the one-for-one, getting back the same exact amount of money back in return for a trade. The Suns could package Bradley Beal and Grayson Allen and dump that $68 million for multiple contracts if they feel necessary. Not saying that that's going to be a concrete trade, but that's something that physically can happen. If they want to take Royce O'Neal, they want to take Grayson Allen and combine both of their contracts and get 3 players worth $27 million instead of 2 players worth $27 million, the Phoenix Suns could go ahead and do that. And with also being in the first apron, they can acquire more money than they send out. So if the Suns feel that they want to trade a player in Grayson Allen and take maybe a little bit of a worser contract on, but can get future draft capital with it, they could also do that in a trade to help them kind of rebalance their shiftness with this team. Now, we know the Suns team, as we mentioned, is still in a disaster class even with this roster. Like, you expect them to bring back Nick Richards on that non-guaranteed deal. He was pretty solid. Maybe they bring back Cody Martin. Who knows with Vasilije Micic? But at that point, you still are talking and discussing about having to move off Bradley Beal and ultimately Kevin Durant as well. As we all know, Kevin Durant is a player that has grown some frustrations with this team, hasn't been the best, I guess, fit with the Phoenix Suns in this second half with the media and how they've been able to take things. But Bradley Beal is kind of, the main person that everyone wants out, right? The fans are obviously frustrated at Beal that he's making this $50 million playing like this, averaging 17 points, shooting 50% from the field, 40% from three, 3.4 rebounds, 3.6 assists per game. Fans would like to see Bradley Beal be a more impactful player, specifically when players on their roster and on this team, like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, make the same amount of money as Bradley Beal and put up way better stats and have been able to do that and have been able to lead this Suns team as we've seen. Like I mentioned, when I saw Bradley Beal come back from injury without Kevin Durant, I thought he could plug back some offense that was missing and really get this Suns team on the roll to where they needed to be getting into that play-in. And unfortunately, I was wrong. I was wrong on a lot of things with this Phoenix Suns team. I thought Tyus Jones was going to be the perfect fit. That was absolutely wrong. I thought that player Mason Plumlee would actually be a decent fit. I was wrong. I was very skeptical of Coach Budenholzer as a hiring, but as we got closer and closer to the season, I was becoming more and more around to it due to the fact that everybody else had seeming really be bought into the Coach Budenholzer obviously experiment. That didn't work as well. A lot of things have not worked well for this Phoenix Suns team, and clearly it can all really stem back to this Bradley Beal trade as we look at it. Trading away Chris Paul and Landry Shamet, players that weren't necessarily working for your team and necessarily weren't, I guess, worth the money you were paying them in exchange for a player that was also not worth the money that you are paying him and is also causing you to be in this situation at this moment. I do expect the Suns to keep an eye out for Bradley Beal trades. I do expect them to look to make moves with Bradley Beal over these next couple of days and into obviously the off season. But if they fail to make a move with Bradley Beal in the off season, then I could see them buying him out, and historically buying him out, potentially waiving and stretching him, or just buying him out outright, which would give the Phoenix Suns that flexibility to make some more moves, even though they'll still have to pay that, $20 million or $40 million, however much they're willing to pay in the buyout if they buy him out outright or if they waive and stretch him over time. They're going to have to be dealing with that dead cap over time, but at least they have a little bit of flexibility with Bradley Beal off the roster. Clearly, the trade would be the best scenario. You get off the money, no hand, scot-free, potentially could keep Kevin Durant, could still potentially build around this roster, but with Bradley Beal playing even worse when coming back and still not looking great returning from injury, it's seeming like all the value that he has had this season, or potentially could have had this season or at the deadline, has potentially been tanked out and thrown out the window with Bradley Beal with this second half performance. So we'll have to keep our eyes out on Bradley Beal, but that is someone I would definitely not expect to be in Phoenix following this season, which regardless how you feel about Bradley Beal as a player or as a person, I know a lot of Suns fans are definitely excited to hear that news, as they definitely did not want to have to deal with this headache once again. For Bradley Beal, once again, I don't fault him for taking that contract, for taking this trade to Phoenix. Obviously, he saw some greener pastures, but it just has not worked out for the man. I wish him the best of luck in his next endeavor with the team that he does play next, as I still think that at around $15 to $20 million, Bradley Beal can still be a helpful player on a championship team. But realistically, with the fit, the roster construction of this team, and the rotations that were run with this team, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker was not going to work, specifically with the team that's strapped up in the second apron. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, how you guys ultimately feel. Like I said, I'm a little bit relieved that we will be moving off Bradley Beal this season. That was the one key caveat I would like to see gone off this team. Hopefully they can still keep KD, even though I don't think that's going to be in the cards as well. I think we'll see a reshift, a retool around Booker, and who knows at that point. Will Booker even ask out at the end? We'll have to keep our toes all out there, keep our ears out there, and really pay attention. So let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this Phoenix Suns team, and ultimately how your thoughts are with us missing the postseason and all this Bradley Beal news that's going to be sparking up on the channel. Like I said, we'll be live once again in a couple hours here at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. So if you do enjoy the content, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everyone.